मन जाकर राखो जी, गिरिधारी लाल। मन जाकर राखो जी।
दृष्ट्वेमं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति वेपथुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। In the last discourse in our first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the title being the despondency of Arjuna, actually the despondency or depressed condition of Arjuna has just begun, and that is why the chapter is been titled Despondency. And we already noticed the signs of despondency, depression when he saw his relatives. Something start happening within his heart and conscience, where he did say that he is dizzy, his face or his mouth is drying up, his limbs are not steady, he is perspiring, he cannot think right, and he is in a confused state. With this then, he is telling Sri Krishna Bhagavan that I do not really see any good sign in undertaking this war. Of course, we have planned this before, and you have advised also, or you have at least agreed. We have attempted to avoid the war. We have decided to, in the past, decided to have this war, but at the moment, I do not see any good reasoning in this. I as a matter of fact, see something evil or undesirable results. And now he is putting up his arguments. Usually, when we are trying to defend something we want to do, of course, we will always think that we are right when we are going to defend. But our very state of mind tells us that we are not normal. And yet we will be listening to what Arjuna has to say to Sri Krishna Bhagavan, who is going to listen. And he says, Arjuna says in the verse 31, that I do not see any good. I do not see any good in this war, and particularly in killing our relatives. I really do not wish to have even the kingdom and whatever the happiness that the kingdom brings, I do not wish to have it. I am willing to renounce that. As a matter of fact, I am renouncing right now. What is the use, O Govind? Govind is the name of Sri Krishna. Govinda means all-knowing, who knows everything about everybody. So says, O Govind, what is the use of winning and having this kingdom and even the pleasures of physical pleasures, and even the happy life as a king ruling the kingdom after we win? What is the good of this? Because if I want to win and if I want to have the kingdom, it would be naturally for my relatives, in which all the Kauravas are also included. So, for those people for whom I would wish to have kingdom, they themselves are standing in front of me. They have renounced their life. They are aware that they will be also killed. They have renounced their wealth, kingdom. They have come here to fight. And these are the people I would rather work for or win the kingdom if I have to do it for my relatives. All these people for whom I would fight, I would win the war, I would bring the pleasure. These my teachers, my fathers, my grandchildren, and my grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-laws, grandchildren, brother-in-laws, all these relatives for whom I would want to work and keep them happy, they are standing in front of me and they will be all killed. Then for whom would I fight and rule the kingdom? So really it doesn't seem right for me. I do not want to, or I do not wish to kill these people, O Madhusudan. Now Madhusudan is also the name of Sri Krishna who had destroyed the devil whose name was Madhu. So he said, O Madhusudan, even if I am killed, and even if I am promised to have the kingdom of the three loks, that is this earth, the middle one, that is Gandharva lok, and heaven, even if I get the kingdom of all these three, I would not want to fight. Then why would I fight for this little petty kingdom on the earth? Now, in this particular slok, it seems very odd that he already says Madhusudan. In other words, he is aware that Sri Krishna has destroyed the evil in the past. If you know the story of Mahabharata, he had also destroyed the Kans, who was also a sort of terrorist, if you want to say so. And this is also the devil Madhu, Sri Krishna Bhagavan had destroyed. So obviously there was nothing wrong in doing that. Arjuna is aware of it, and yet he cannot see for himself that if it is evil, that if Sri Krishna destroyed it, then I must follow him because he is my leader, he is my advisor, he is our elder in the family, and we should follow him. But because his mind is not in proper state right now, he cannot think about it. So right there we find the contradiction. And he continues to say that by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra, what love, what happiness we will get? We will only be incurring evil, even though they are atatayina. And atatayina again is really means felons or terrorists. And if you know the story of Mahabharata, the Kauravas had tried to do these many things. First, they tried to put the house on fire in which the Pandavas were living at one time. So we can see that the Kauravas had this quality. Duryodhana had tried to do this. He even tried to give poison to Bhim. He actually tried to kill all the sons of Draupadi when they were sleeping at night, which is against the law. And he steals. They had stolen the wealth, the land, and even the wives of the other people. All these things they have done. I recognize that. I am aware of it. But even then, to kill them is evil, and so I do not feel justification of killing my relatives. There is no point in killing our relatives. We cannot be happy, O Madhav. Madhav means again the name of Shri Krishna, the lover of mankind. So, O Madhav, I do not know whether we can be happy by going through this war and killing my relatives. I recognize that the Kauravas are certainly greedy, their mind is unstable, evil due to greed, as recently we know what happened due to greed. And even if they don't see the evil in the war because they are greedy, they are after the kingdom at any cost, they have no morality, they don't follow the laws of Kshatriya or our Hindu dharma and religion. I understand that. They don't think that the friends that they have invited to defend them will be killed. They don't think that it is evil to have your friends killed for your own selfish motive. I understand that he doesn't know all these things, but we are much wiser than they are. They don't understand because their mind is carried away by greed and lust, but we are wise people. Why should we not be free from this evil by not getting ourselves involved? And we should be able to see the evil of destroying the friends who have come to help us, and we know that in the war this is going to happen. So, hey Janardhan, we are wise, we can see it, so let us take action on our own wisdom and judgment, even though they themselves cannot see what is good for them or for some others. Besides, if the war continues, naturally lots of men will be killed, and then the religion, there will be nobody to look after the rituals of the religion. And when the religion is destroyed, because nobody will be able to follow the rituals and the standard ritual that we have to perform, there will be adharma or non-religious or immorality. And by immorality, when men will be all killed, women will be running around, they will go after any human being, and the children they will produce will be crossbreed. And I don't see that this is our tradition, this is not what we have been taught. And all these things tells me that these crossbreed Sankaras, or the Varna Shankar as we call it, they will be no good because they are not allowed to perform the rituals. And if we don't perform the rituals, then our parents who have died and who are supposed to be in heaven, they will not be getting all the benefits of the rituals that we do here. So I see that not only we are going to be doing evil, but even we are going to hurt our ancestors who have been in the heaven, and we are supposed to send them our good deeds so that they will be also happy. So if these people, the Kauravas, don't see the evil in these crossbreeds that they will create after the war, the women will be running around as we have said, and there will be the religion will be uprooted, people will be living without any discipline, any laws or any organization, and certainly that would cause uh, us also to go to hell because we did not perform our true duties. We are not only hurting our ancestors, but we will be dying, and nobody after our death, nobody will be able to perform these rituals, and so we will also be suffering. So we are causing the entire system and our families and our tradition, we will be the cause of our suffering, which I personally do not like. So I feel very bad that we are here gathered to perform a great sin by fighting this war, and that also for the love of or the happiness of kingdom, the greed for the kingdom. I think that I do not want such a kingdom. I do not want to kill my own relatives just for the sake of kingdom. And if I decide, and I am deciding that I am not going to fight, I already dropped my weapons, and if they with the weapons come and kill me, I still think it will be much better for me than to kill them and continue this war. Let the Dhritarashtra's, means the Kauravas, rather kill me, even if I am not defending, and they may have the weapons. I don't mind it, but I rather not kill them. Now, in those days, there was a law that you don't attack people who do not have weapons in their hand. But Arjun says that even I know that if I don't have the weapon, they will still kill me, and I do not mind it. I have decided that I don't want to be the part of this evil or violence that this war will create. So, having put up his arguments, as we have seen, Arjun then says that he threw away his bow and arrow, and he sat down on the seat of the chariot, saying that I am not going to fight. And thus he made his own decision, even though we know that the general decision of war was not necessarily based only on his own decision, but all the five brothers, their mother, and of course the advice of Sri Krishna and all other elders. But right now, because he is what we would normally call out of his mind, because he himself says he is depressed and he is dizzy and he cannot think well, and yet he makes the decision. I think in life we often might do this in a situation where we are frustrated and our mind is not thinking, but sometimes there is that hidden desire to escape a particular problem that we may be facing, and in order to escape that problem, from the problem, we might create some defensive arguments and just justify, though probably at the depth of our heart we know that this is not right, but under the circumstances we do not know what else we would be able to do. And I think that is a very appropriate stage that Vyas Muni has created. Arguments not to fight, even though out of justice. Certainly, in this world there must be rules and laws. You cannot say that let thieves go free and just do whatever they want to do, that there is no justice. In the name of violence, we will not defend ourselves. That means then they will do whatever they want to do. It is like saying that, well, we don't want to kill terrorists because killing is no good. Let them do whatever they want to do. Well, we know what they want to do. They will go on destroying just like Duryodhana. And certainly that would not be the wisdom and even the organization of the family and the world in which we are living, organization. There has to be some laws in order to protect those who are wise, sincere, honest. So that is why we have justice system, that is why we have police. But only thing is that we want to make sure that there is justice. And Sri Krishna Bhagavan made sure that the war was just. They had done everything possible to convince Duryodhana that he was wrong. Even they asked only, as we said, only 5 villages so that they can avoid the war. But he refused because out of his jealousy, he simply wanted to destroy the Pandavas out of jealousy. So in such a case then there is obviously, even if we don't fight and we are killed, there is no solution, because he will be rampant, going all over the world and doing just whatever he wants to do, just like Kams was doing, like killing all the children. So there is a time when even Sri Krishna Bhagavan killed his own maternal uncle because he was again a terrorist or a fallen who was killing the children because he was afraid that one of the child will be Krishna and he might kill him. So he went and ordered that every little child that is born or maybe below 3 years old or freshly born should be killed. Now such evil propensities and kings has to be destroyed, and that's what Sri Krishna Bhagavan did. I think that is not violence, but that is defense. As a matter of fact, if we don't defend against these evil propensities, once it is determined properly that it is evil, then we will be considered coward. And cowardice certainly has no place in this religion. That will be certainly worse than animal life. Like if somebody came to attack your wife or your daughter or your mother, and you say, well, I will not kill that guy or not defend against him because it will be violence, while he himself is going to kill us, then certainly we will be considered rather coward. As long as we don't have the intention of attacking somebody for our personal gain, but if somebody is going to come and attack us, whether it's our country or whether it's our family or whether it's our system, where we know that we have not done harm to them, then it is our duty that we defend ourselves. And in defending, if we die, it is justified, it is for according to the law, and I think that Gita recommends that you rather defend the justice rather than be coward. So this is one lesson we have to learn, and sometimes we haven't, in artificial understanding of non-violence, we often become coward. Right now Arjun might be considered coward because it is time that he as a king should defend against the injustice. If supposing he doesn't defend and he runs away, which is what he wants to, then what will happen? Duryodhana is certainly going to rampage all over the world and do what the Kans was doing. Now, and the fault of that will be, or the responsibility will have to be shared by the Pandav families, that because they did not fight, they were the cause of Duryodhana ruling the kingdom and creating more havoc, primarily because these fellows did not defend them. So, again, we often talk very much theoretical about non-violence, but even Mahatma Gandhi said that when there is injustice, we should be ready to die. Our whole problem is that we are so much attached to the life at any cost that we suffer the injustice, and suffering the injustice is what Gita is up against. Sri Krishna Bhagavan certainly would not recommend that we allow injustice in this world, don't defend the righteousness or dharma, and then if there will be adharma, certainly those who are responsible, particularly the Kshatriyas who are responsible to defend, they will be the cause, and they will have to answer this from not only in this life but life yet to come. So I would say that in this chapter, if we can keep this in mind and perform our duties, make sure that whatever action we are taking, we have thoroughly investigated like Shri Krishna Bhagavan did and the Pandavas did, and they gave every penny possible, all allowances possible to the Kauravas, and in spite of them, spite of that, because of their greed, they are not willing to listen. That is the time we have to go to war. And this is not a war of destruction, but this is a war of protecting the justice or religion, as we call, or dharma. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.